And we are live. Hello, everybody. The Bible Says What is here. Do you go by the Bible Says What? I didn't want to dox you. I didn't want to put your real name out there, but it's pretty common. It's
Yeah,
common
no,
knowledge, correct?
yeah, 100%. Mike, Michael, BSW, the podcast. The Bible says what? Jerk. I mean,
What
you call me what you want.
perfect segue. Just go ahead and tell us where everyone can find you. Oh, and I have this too. This is what the website looks like. This takes you to everything.
Ta-da. Yes, the website ever evolving. Just recently changed the video there too. The Bible says what.com, BSW the podcast at gmail.com. I'm also on YouTube. There is another Bible Says What on YouTube. The guy without the beard is not me. Just so you know.
All right. All right. And the book, I noticed you have. Tell us about that book.
Yes. Last year, actually, it came out. The Bible Says What? It's just thin book. I went through a bunch of crap, finding out what's in the Bible, what exactly these popular stories are all about, contradictions, God is love, all this stuff. And I found verses and whatnot that counteract that. Man, a lot of stuff. One of my favorite chapters is Penis Jacket. We talk about circumcision. It's basically the first chapter is from in the beginning, and the end of it is the musical apocalypse. So it's everything in between there, all the fun stuff.
I have some more questions about that book. Hello to Beck and Critical Cripple and Purple Rhymes with Orange and Dragons in Genesis. Oh,
Dragons in
maybe
Genesis.
yeah. Oh,
No.
yeah. Earlier before we went live, he whoever that is plugged your podcast, Mike.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Penny.
No, great show
yeah.
too.
Oh yeah. Oh, Dragons in Genesis. That's a show as well.
It is. Yeah, he puts on a great show.
I am so out of the loop. Okay. Penny, this is your fourth time on the show? But for those that haven't seen, for those that don't know who you are, give them a little rundown.
Well, my name is Penny Reagan, Ragan, no E. And I often like to make the joke because I label myself as pagan, but I'm not religious, don't believe in any religion at all. It's just that I like the earth, centered thing, taking care of our earth. And I say, I'm not just any pagan, I'm a Reagan pagan. I have a YouTube channel called Holistic Liberty and a website, holisticliberty.net. I'm not like any other holistic channel because that's me. I don't want to be like anybody else. I just kind of put things of my own life in there because, body, mind, and spirit, that's just part of your life. I do a lot of camping stuff. And I like to help people discover who they are on the inside so that they could follow that instead of like having everybody else tell them what to live or tell them what to think or whatever.
Awesome. I'm going to skip back and forth so you guys try to bear with me. Michael, the book, and my first book wasn't so much it wasn't an expression. It was basically me taking a huge intellectual dump. Really, it was just a huge intellectual shit. It's like there's 20. I took the 25 most asked believers. The most popular things a believer asks me, and I got so tired of repeating myself, so I just decided to write it down, and I put all 25 together and called it a book.
There you
go.
go.
Is that kind of what you did, or what was the process for the book?
No, 100%. So the show and the book are kind of like hand in hand. What I did was I started talking to pastors. I had all these questions. I read the Bible. That was my first problem. Was I read the Bible and it just screwed up my Christianity forever. So upon reading it, I came up with all these questions and strange verses I would find that were hard to reason with. So I wrote them all down. I had all the fucking note cards everywhere, man, everywhere. So I finally just started categorizing all this stuff, and it just slowly developed into the book that you see behind me today. Now, it took a long process. I am not the best writer on the planet, that's for sure. But it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun process making it, going back and forth with the editor and whatnot, and getting it all perfected and pretty. So But yeah, it started off with questioning what the shit is that all about, man. There's so much stuff in there that just doesn't make sense. And then during this process, I was actually calling churches. I was calling churches across the country and being like, hey, pastor, this is our pastor I can talk to. And the pastor, wait, why is this here? Doesn't make much sense. If God is loving, why is this in here? Why would Yahweh murder children? Why is he causing so much mayhem and destruction? All kinds of things. Never got a good answer. And so that kind of developed into the show, me talking to religious leaders all the time now. I mean, I had 2 conversations just today. So constantly having conversations with these people, trying to figure out why they believe and why they believe what they believe. And I use the Bible to go kind of head on and toe to toe with them, back and forth and whatnot.
So just the Bible. Well, did you talk to? I was going to say, if you talk to a pastor, if they said, "I don't know," you know what? I like your answer. I can deal with that. There were so many other answers that would be way less acceptable. I don't want to pigeonhole rabbis, but if you were to ask a rabbi, the chances of them of saying "I don't know" is rare. Usually they'll say,
rare.
Well, what do you think it means? The rabbis will pull a Socratic method on your ass. They will street epistemology your ass.
They'll try.
And you don't even realize it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, pastors, 100%. My favorite answer is I don't know. When one of these religious leaders gives me that straightforward, that's a good question, I don't know, I praise him for it. Good job. You did it, man. You didn't just come up with some bullshit. You actually have a real answer. So I love that. I don't know, man, all the time.
We're gonna get oh, look at the smile on Penny's face. And Penny, you're a fan of Godless Granny, I guess.
Yes,
let's jump right over to Godless Granny, just for the maybe one person that doesn't know who you are. Give us a quick plug.
Hello, I'm Godless Granny. I do anti-theism, and I also do a bit of support for trans people because I am a trans parent. I'm wearing my ally shirt. I also do pro-LGBTQ, do some political commentary. My background is in law, so I do tend to focus a lot on the legislation in the courts.
Awesome. Cool. I have a question for Penny. Before I ask it, 2 things. Everyone's invited. This, Michael, you're kind of our guest of honor. If I'm kind of engaged in the live chat, I want you to kind of run the show. You can kind of field the questions and whatnot. So we're going to give you that opportunity. Also, if you look in in the live chat, if you look in the description section of this video, you'll see that very first link is the link to actually come on and join us. So if you're tired of hanging around in the live chat, you've been in the live chat over and over, you wanted an opportunity to come on the show and talk to us with a question or a comment. If you just want to come on and say Jesus loves you and leave, that's cool too. We might try to keep you here and try to ask you some more questions, but like the person, the last time we tried, this takes balls doing, just so you guys know. So anything could happen. It takes a fair amount of courage to host a show where anyone can come on. And luckily, it hasn't been too bad. So let's try to keep that track record going. Penny believes in some weird shit, guys. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. If you haven't seen her before, definitely not an atheist and definitely not a Christian. Without going into too much detail in one particular thing, well, here we've got somebody, Kelly and Mike. We've got somebody here we could ask a question of. And I think I've run out of questions, at least temporarily. But she believes in cosmic consciousness, like we are all one. And it sounds very. I was trying to explain to her what pantheism is. It's like sexed up atheism. She's beyond that. She's somewhere between pantheism and deism. She thinks. Now I'm speaking for you, Penny. I'm going to give you a chance to respond. She thinks something like an intelligent agent that oversees the universe, but it is the conglomerate, the sum total of all that the cosmos is. Am I making any sense at all? Penny?
You can't. You just need to try to pigeonhole me, but that's you. You do you. Where I get my ideas is actually, I go according to my own experiences, and like other people, I did the whole Christian thing and discovered. I'm going to pull him out. Discovered it was this.
A load of poop.
And I read through the Bible, Old Testament 3 times, New Testament 4 times, word
Wow.
for word. You know, all the boring words and all this and that. And I've heard a lot of atheists became atheists by reading through the Bible. But basically, I believe that, yeah, there is a consciousness, but, you know, a lot of people say, well, that they kind of go with maybe the way I believe that, oh, you know, like the universe is for you or the universe is against you or whatever. And I don't really think the universe cares. I don't think that this consciousness cares one way or the other, what we do, what we think, or anything like that, that there's just, we have this connection, and we can connect positively with it, or we can connect negatively with it, but it doesn't care. You know, it's not this, there's not this loving thing that is trying to guide me. I do that myself. It doesn't care. I guess I don't pigeonhole, because every time I try to get into a belief system, I always end up tweaking it. And so I'm not religious, definitely not religious, and definitely just believe in a connection. But that's only because of my own experiences in life that I don't really want to go too much into. That's why I kind of have a attitude. If somebody wants to argue with something I say, well, I'm going by my own experience. I don't care if you believe me or not. But if you can show me what it is that caused this experiment, I'm open to suggestions, because I've got my own skeptics about different things. I've got my own gurus, and I don't necessarily believe everything that they say. You know, I'm skeptical even in the holistic world. There are things that I'm very skeptical about. I have to experience things myself. And even then, I want to know what is it that I've experienced. So I don't know if that explains it or not.
A little bit, but I've got a ton of questions. That's usually how it goes. So you say you can connect with this being?
It's not a being.
Force.
The force is with you. I don't know how to explain. Consciousness. We all have a consciousness.
Uh-huh.
And I believe that our consciousness connects with all other consciousness.
That is not me, by the way, Jim. That's not me.
Huh?
That's the guy with no beard. I don't know if you guys can see in the background. He's looking up the Bible Says What on YouTube.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I just noticed that.
That's totally
Yeah.
not me. That guy is an
I just
imposter.
noticed that.
He should be thrown out of
You
YouTube.
think he's
A lot of
do
people
you think he's trying to copy you?
No, he started before me. He had a few videos. I think he was in Psalms when I oh, yeah, I don't know where he was. He had a few videos, and I'm like, man, but my shit's a little bit different. I've got exclamation question mark, and that's it. He's got question mark, exclamation question mark.
Oh, there you are.
That's not me. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'm the red, yellow, and black, kind of a warning, caution symbol. Caution.
All right.
So this can.
So Michael, you
Go
and Kelly and Michael, this is where Purple's in here now. Hello, Purple.
Hello.
I would like to give Purple a quick chance to plug, but
Is
then
there anything in the Bible that you yourself have an
Well,
issue
that sounds like
with?
me.
oh boy.
Just push
Sorry.
pause down there. It just
Um,
starts automatically.
Yeah, Purple, you, give your plugs, and then Michael, you were just on the verge of trying to get Penny to actually. The hardest thing I've been doing, it's like washing a cat, is trying to pin her down on definitions of what she means by consciousness and holistic. And okay, so anyway, Purple, go.
Yes.
I just do regular live chats, pretty much open mic for anybody. Wednesdays at noon, Thursdays at 10 p.m. Central Time. But I had to hop in here because it just sounded like what you're discussing is very much, what I was following when I was a pagan. And I was promoting what I coined as being the ambivalent universe theorem, which is basically that the universe cares as much about your well-being as a car cares about squirrels. And the squirrels who think the universe is out to get them will zigzag and probably get hit by the car. And the squirrels who just don't pay any attention to it and run straight will probably be fine.
Yeah.
I don't think the universe is out to get. I don't think anybody's out to get me.
Squirrels are definitely out to get
Yeah.
us.
Well, that's the problem I've had with religion is that people seem to take either the mindset that the universe is out to get them, or that there's some being up there who is watching and taking care of everything for them.
Yeah.
And just it seemed to me that if there is any type of sentient power there, it's probably completely oblivious to what anyone on this planet is doing.
Yeah.
It's your guys' show. I'm the producer today.
Doing a great job. So,
Yes.
Penny, you were describing your entity, your force. Could you pin it down a little bit more, or refresh my memory what you said?
Okay, I don't think it's an entity or a force. For some reason we have to believe in some kind of entity or a force or anything. It's just a consciousness.
Just a
We
random
all have a
consciousness.
consciousness, and everything. I don't think that consciousness stops with humans. I think it's just a consciousness. We either connect with it or we don't connect with it.
So it's like a consciousness without a body or a form. It's just a. How does that work?
Like that. Well, I'm one of those everything is energy kind of people. I guess you could put it that way. And we're all connected or part of this consciousness.
Sort of like the circle of life type of thing. We're
The
all
force.
connected because we die, we become the energy of the earth, and the earth feeds the plants, and the animals eat the plants, and we eat the animals, and the energy just kind of flows through all of us.
Yeah, like there's all different types of energies, and energy never really dies. It just transforms into another energy. Death is just a transformation of one energy to another along that line. And we're connected with this. I don't think that anything is for us. I don't think that anything is against us. We're responsible for our own lives, although people want to blame God or the devil or whatever, but and I've learned to accept responsibility for my life and only my life, and not for what other people do, because they're responsible for their life. This has just all got to do with my own experiences in life and thinking for myself a lot instead of having people think for me. I have certain gurus, but I don't always agree with them. I read things and think, okay, this might work. Let me try it. I have certain things that I want to try out on skeptical atheists that I'm skeptical about, just to see if it works, because I don't want to try things out on somebody who thinks it's going to work, because then you got the placebo effect and stuff like that. Because I'm skeptical about many of the holistic things myself, but there are a lot of holistic things that I connect with.
Well, I'm skeptical about this consciousness. That's what I'm skeptical about. So what this consciousness, does it have any kind of control? And you say you've had experience with this consciousness.
Well, I'm going by my experiences.
What experience did you have with this consciousness?
Oh, do you really want to know?
100%. That's why I'm asking.
Because I've driven Jim crazy with this stuff already, and you want me to drive you crazy now?
My turn.
Well, I don't believe in prayer, like Heavenly Father, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. But through different forms of meditation, I can feel a connection with this consciousness. I do believe in intuition, because I don't feel that it's always correct. Everything has flaws. Nothing works all the time.
Well, hold on. Let's address that feeling that you have with this consciousness. How does that work?
It's from the heart. Okay. I don't know how to explain this, but many times in my life I could feel just when somebody's about to die. I knew the day before my husband died, and I looked at him and I said, "Tom, don't leave me." And he says, "Why would I ever leave you? I love you." And I said, "Don't die on me." I felt something, and the following day he passed away.
Okay.
Which
I'm sorry, that sucks.
And
I'm just going to counter with my grandma can feel when I'm going through a bad day or something's going to happen. She'll contact me. My mom, same thing. But they attribute that to Jesus or the Holy Spirit. But you attribute it to a consciousness that this is the only way you interact with. Was
like I've tapped into something.
Uh-huh.
I've had.
How do you know you didn't just tap into your own sensitivity to your husband?
Well, that could be too, except the and I've thought about that possibly because I've been able to tap in, but the first time I felt something, it couldn't have been that. Okay. And it was back when I was
Why
like,
couldn't have been though?
because I was about 13, 14 years old. And it was my week to do dishes. And I started shaking really bad. And I told Mom, something bad's going to happen today. I know, I didn't know how, but I knew something bad was going to happen. And on that day, my best friend's little brother, who was 9 years old, drowned.
Oof.
I didn't see him before that. I had no idea he was going to go to that pool and fall in and drown, but I knew something was going to happen. So I've had experiences like that in my life, and I can't deny it. I don't know what it is. If someone can show me what it is,
I'm going to tell you right now what it is. I'm going to reveal it for you. Ready?
Go
I
ahead.
have the answer. It's your
ahead.
spider sense tingling. Prove me wrong. Madam Web is from another universe sending you spider tingles so that you will be able to recognize these things happening. 100%. That's what it is.
100%, and you can prove that.
Yes, Spider-Man gets spider tingles. So, and that's when things are going to happen. The same power. You have that same power. I have that same power. All you have to do is believe.
I had to come in because you guys are talking about those feelings and knowing if someone else is not okay or whatever. So I have a sister that's 8 years older than me. And when we grew up together, we were inseparable. We were like, my mom called us her twins that were born 8 years apart, literally. Before she called, I always knew about 3 to 5 minutes before she called. And I would say, Ma, Sue's going to call. She'd go, okay. And she'd go over by the phone and stand there. And then within 2 or 3 minutes, it would ring. She'd go, hey, Sue. Oh, did B tell you? Yeah. Yeah, he told me you were going to call. Like, that's how it was when I was growing up. We were at a catering thing for a wedding. It was family. We were all together. Like, you know, you cut up all the vegetables, make all the fucking trays and all that shit. And we were all doing that. And this conversation stopped. So I was running a joke through my head to make sure I was going to tell it right, you know. And I got to the end in my head and she laughed and said, that's great. You should tell that. And everybody else went, what? Because it was dead silent in there. And my mom just grinned and said, that's my kids. We were like that our entire lives until she got sick with cancer and somehow the connection was broken. But it was like that until 2001. And I was born in 71. So
The consciousness died.
it was weird. It was weird. It just stopped one day. I mean, I still knew when she was okay or not okay, you know? And if she called, I always I could still do that. I feel like she's going to call me and I call her or something. Like we did that, but the finishing each other's thoughts and all that stopped after, you know, so many years of not living together. But that's a very common thing. And I mean, I'm not bullshitting you guys. You can ask my brother Richard. You guys know he never lies. He may sound a little crazy, but he doesn't lie. But that's how it always was. So I don't think that has anything to do with a higher power. It's a connection with a person. I had an ex I could think about at night, and I'd wake her up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And after a few times, she goes, I love you. Fucking quit doing that at 3 a.m. And I said, yes, ma'am. And I never did it again because I got my ass in trouble. I was at a truck stop in North Dakota thinking about her, you know, and she woke up and called me. So it's just, I think some people, it's easier for them to connect than others. I agree. We all have it.
Yeah.
We all have it.
I think it's a matter of how open you are to the connection, and we can close it off. And I remember when I was doing the Christian thing, and I would say something about it, and they'd say, "Oh, that's the devil. That's the devil." And I closed it off for many years because of that, you know. But it's, you know, just being able to connect and with connecting or feeling that somebody's going to die before they die. That's a horrible feeling. I can't
imagine what you went through. I really cannot.
I went through the same thing when my brother died. I wanted to deny that no, this is not it. I don't feel this. I don't feel this. And then he committed suicide. I went through the same thing with my husband, my husband, second husband, first husband, I don't care about,
None of us do.
and other people in my life, even if I wasn't around them, I can feel it. And that's why I believe in this consciousness. I don't believe in this higher power, just this way that we're able to connect.
But you got to remember though, we all came from the same area. We're all connected. We all share a huge chunk of the same DNA. We are literally all related to each other, one way or the other. It might be 1,000 years back, but Jim and I are related. It might be 500 years back. Granny and I are related. Like, we're all related anyways. So I think you can have a better connection with certain people. Everybody that I've been able to do that with in my life are people that were very, very, very close to me, like knew everything about me. We were totally 100%. There was no dark secrets. We knew each other's dark secrets. Like, it was like that. And I think if you get to the point where you know somebody that well, then you start, like my best friend, we don't do it. And you'd think we would because we're tight as hell. Like, we've been best friends for like 11 years.
Is no one else
But
going to step
I can't
in
deal
and
with it.
talk about how much this is complete horseshit?
This is way going off. But
I want it.
Penny, I
don't
wanna know
where you guys were. I just
in this-
jumped in.
can this
No.
force, this consciousness,
Yeah.
be anything else? Is it a possibility? It could be the Sir Tingle from Madam Web. Could
People,
that be it?
people just don't. I mean, your brain is such a powerful thing. There's women out there that think they're pregnant so much that the pregnancy tests come out positive. And then
Yeah.
they do a blood test and they're not pregnant. Your brain is a crazy, like, we only tap into what,
Doesn't
Gray?
mean-
Was it like 10% of our brains or something?
No,
That's
like if-
incorrect.
no,
That's
That's incorrect. 100%.
What is it really?
We use all
It's
of our brain just a
100%.
different.
You
yeah,
use 100% of your brain.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
You
anyway.
just use different parts at different times.
exactly.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Godless.
And that's what Bruce Lipton says too. He's one of my
I hadn't
gurus.
thought
He
about it
says
like
we actually use
Why do you
100%
need-
of our brain.
Why do you need gurus though? Like,
Well, I just say guru because it's what people say, but I like learning from people. Okay.
yes,
Where do
100%.
Yeah. Well, a
Where do
guru
you-
is just a teacher.
Where do thoughts
gotcha.
originate?
Oh, good one. Good answer. Good question.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Where do thoughts originate?
I don't know all there is to know, but I know I have a lot of thoughts that originate, in the brain, but also
Okay.
the mind.
Can
the
a thought
mind.
originate without a brain?
Consciousness? I don't know all there is to know. All I can go is by my own experience. I don't know, and that's why I would love for people to explain things to me. Why am I experiencing this or whatever? I don't think it's spider senses. I'm
Oh, come
sorry.
on.
Try that one.
I was totally going to go along with that at first, but then.
Exactly. Spider-Man is God. Telling you right now. He's my guru. That's for sure. With
Yeah.
great power comes great responsibility.
There
Definitely.
you go.
He tries to
What-
save the bad guys. Holy cow. He saves the bad guys. The Christian deity, no, I mean, even the good guys he slaughters. Them.
Yeah, right.
Kids, no matter.
Exactly.
But I do want to
Yeah, they
tell
do.
you, Godless Granny, I adore you. I just want to tell you that.
Oh,
Thank you.
I adore Godless Granny too. She's an awesome person.
Who
I could
doesn't?
take her or leave her, but
Oh,
Oh,
oh, there it
What was
is.
that?
Always
Kelly's
stirring the-
amazing. If she wasn't married, I'd hit on her.
let me
If
butt
I
in.
wasn't
honest.
married, I'd send you a plane ticket.
Oh,
Ooh,
Dean,
damn. All right, well, give me a ring when that divorce hit. No, I'm just kidding. I would never wish that on anyways. I'm just teasing.
that's a good point, Dean. Yeah,
Yeah?
this is kind of a Texas sharpshooter
Yeah.
fallacy. I've got a few things I just took. I'm taking notes, and maybe I'll just shotgun you guys in the face. I don't want to take up this. I don't want to eat up too much of the conversation. Beck, was that your grandma that you could sense that was about to call? That was your grandma,
My
right?
sister.
Your
My
sister. Okay. Now, as you were talking, in the brief time it took you to tell that story, I thought of literally a half dozen. If I sat and put some time to it, I could think of another half dozen viable explanations why that is not weird. What time?
I
of
don't
day
think it's
did
weird
your
at
sister
all. I
always
think it happens
call?
to a lot of people.
Did it call at the same time? Did she normally call at the same time every
No.
day?
It was
did you know her
random,
sta-
and we wouldn't hear from her sometimes for a month or two.
I'm just saying, if you put it under laboratory conditions, you'd find that it's not as
Oh, I've
random
done
as you
this.
think.
Trust me.
Yeah.
I am one of the most
double-blind-
skeptical people. I have
No,
dug through this five ways a Sunday, and there's just no
like-
way I could have known these things.
Like a James Randi type double blind, you would see that it's not a campfire weird thing. There's an explanation, and it's not ad hoc. There
Yeah.
are explanations.
me
The other
he's
thing
not
is,
like-
There is an explanation. We know we could feel
It's
what the other
natural.
person was thinking. I'm just
uh,
telling you, it's the truth, man.
well, that
There's
segues
just
into the
no,
next thing.
like for instance, the joke I was telling in my head, I only heard a week before, and she'd never heard it. She had moved it by the time this happened. She had been out of the house 6, 7, 8 years, you know, and she was off college, getting ready to get married,
And see,
and
these are atheists saying
things
this
like
shit.
that. She called from Florida,
guys are
and I
not-
know she would call.
See, even you guys are not immune to
the way it
magical
is,
thinking.
No.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Okay.
magical.
Means you don't believe
I
in a
do
God.
not think it's magical. I think some people have a connection. Bottom line.
And you
It's
said
just
we're
like-
related. We're all
it's just
related.
like-
That's true, but that
It's
doesn't apply
just
to
like
telepathy.
the twins that can. It's like the twins that can finish each other's sentences and stuff. That are born twins. They are. That's just the way it is, man.
There's
You can't-
there's cultural explanations for that too. Just living around each other. My brother and I do the same thing. We're
well,
not
yeah,
really
of
twins.
course.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
what I'm saying. Some
you
people
live
have that
near each other.
connection. Yeah.
What was the last thing?
You have
Oh, Granny
connections.
said, what is a thought? A thought is, tell me if this is off base, but I think a brain is needed. Now, does the brain need to be carbon based? It could be silicon based, but at least a brain is necessary to have a thought.
Agreed.
But in our case, it's an electrochemical response. It is the byproduct of neuroelectrochemical processes in the brain, and it's well. As far as did you actually come up with it, or did you unconsciously come up of it before you even like the Sam Harris free will thing? He's under the impression, a lot of neuroscientists are under the impression that we don't have free will, that the thought arises and then a nanosecond later, we think we thought of it, but it was already determined for us and we just put it into action. So there's a free will argument there. Anyway, sorry for
Right.
arguing the conversation.
Good question though. Like jellyfish, for instance, do jellyfish think, this is delicious when they're eating a fish? What do jellyfish think? I mean, they obviously they have no
I
brain.
think it's just a natural
They still
instinct to
eat
eat the damn
things.
thing.
particular.
Politicians don't have a brain, but they function.
You know what? I can't argue with
That's
her
the end of the
right
show right there, folks.
now. Done.
That's good.
We don't need to say anything else. I think we're done here.
Nope, we're done. I could say that for all politicians, though, but
That was good. That was good. I like that. But no, seriously, how do jellyfish like? Obviously, they don't dream. I don't think, but like, they got to pick their food. How do they pick their food, and how do they know which one's edible and which one's, I don't know.
that's
so
instinctual.
confusing.
It's just like animals, over time, like the deer learned what not to eat that makes them sick. That's just
Thank
that.
you, Jason.
That's just what do they call it? Natural selection. The idiots that don't learn, they die. That's just.
Okay,
Well, if you don't have a
plants.
brain, you're pretty stupid.
Plants.
I would think.
Well, yeah.
Think about
But
plants.
jellyfish are pretty smart. They stay alive without a brain.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do that.
Or
Well,
maybe it's
instincts.
not a brain in how we have a brain, and I think a lot about plants. Okay, and they
good.
manage to do a lot. They stay alive.
A lot.
They
They do some crazy
lot.
shit.
some plants even eat meat, like the
Venus
Venus
flytrap.
flytrap.
Venus flytrap.
Venus flytrap, and
Pitch
they
a plant.
manage to stay alive. They manage to function. They don't have a brain, at least not a brain like we have. We assume jellyfish don't have a brain, plants don't have. Maybe it's a different type.
See,
But we have
I got all
built
kinds of
into us
questions
because
now.
we want to connect everything to humans or animals. We want everything to be like us, and thank goodness they aren't.
Well,
Does
like
this-
octopeds have a decentralized brain to the point that if one of the tentacles is severed off, the tentacle will continue to go about its normal activities of searching for food,
Wow.
being disconnected from the animal.
Octopus are cool.
Well, it's just like when I was growing up on the farm, Mom would chop the chicken's head off, and it was my job to go get the chicken because half of them would run across the yard, jump the fence, through the fence,
Wow.
over the little creek, get up on the roost, and then they'd go, doom, just fall over.
Well, let's talk about your
So my
traumatic
job as a
childhood
5,
next.
6 year old
Holy cow.
kid was to go get the chickens and bring them back. That's what I did. I wasn't allowed
I
to
couldn't
do the
imagine
rest
telling
of
that
the
to my
stuff.
kids nowadays. Get the chicken that's its head's cut up. No, go. It's okay.
Yeah, well, the first time it happened, we were like, "Oh, it's true!" And Mom said, "Can you go get that for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got it." And that was it. It was just my job after that. That was the
crazy.
littlest one.
Good question though. Does this consciousness, Penny, this consciousness of yours, does it interact with plants as well? Does it show them what to do, or same with jellyfish, things without brains? Does it interact with them? Does it help them out?
Personally, I don't know all the answers. I can only tell you what I believe, and I believe from experience or just my conclusion or theory or whatever. And I do think that it interacts with plants because I believe that plants have their own consciousness. Animals have their own consciousness. And then there's kind of a universal consciousness. I just
Reminds
don't
me a lot of the
believe-
Borg.
Huh?
It reminds me a lot of the Borg.
The Borg. Okay.
The Borg, yeah, one consciousness. Everybody's just kind of
Collective
branch
mind.
off of this one universal.
The
But even
collective.
that has an actual person, a being, a thing.
Well,
And you just,
Yeah.
it's just a consciousness. You can't.
as far
pin
as
it
like
down.
plants and jellyfish and simpler, for lack of a better term, simpler creatures like that,
Hmm.
they may not have a brain we can identify, but clearly they still have an awareness of their surroundings and their own needs.
Hmm.
So they still
Indeed.
have the ability to seek out what they need.
Are they conscious?
Your stomach has a gut brain, but it's not
Mhm.
capable of intellectual thought. It's very rudimentary.
Yeah,
It can
well-
think. It can tell you it knows
Primitive.
you're primitive. It knows it's hungry. It knows hunger, right? And that's what it's there for. The gut brain
Okay,
and the
then we need some
reptiles have a-
definitions.
oh, what was it?
We need some definitions to figure out, what's the difference between something being conscious and something just being self-aware.
Hmm. Good
Or
point.
instinctive.
Or instinctive, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
I've asked Penny this before. Maybe you guys can help me ask it correctly. I asked her this cosmic consciousness. Okay, she says when we die, I asked her, Penny, when you die, does your consciousness live on? Yes, of course it does. Does your individuality, the penniness of the penny, like your your individuality, does that live on? And she implied that yes, it does. Well, if all these consciousnesses commingle and there's this ultimate consciousness, can it make decisions? Can it look after our welfare? There's a better way to ask this question, but is it kind of godlike in the fact that it can actually interact with those that are still living?
I don't think the universal consciousness cares about us. It's just a consciousness. It's just doing what it does. Fire.
Well, where does this consciousness come from?
It's okay. I think people have a hard time with the idea of. Sorry about that. I think people have a hard time with the idea of infinity, and I think that for me, it only makes such sense that there is a such thing as infinity. Okay, that we have a hard time with it because we're in a cycle, and so we see everything as a beginning and an end. So this consciousness has always been and always will be.
That sounds so much like Jesus.
Yeah, no.
How is it different?
Huh?
You've just taken Jesus and given it the name of consciousness at this point.
No, I'm just saying that I think that there's always been an infinity, but I don't think that there's this great God that cares about us. It just does what it does. Like fire, it cooks your dinner, it burns your home down. It does what it does. It doesn't care.
Yeah, but it starts somewhere. We have fire that starts. We start fire.
Yeah,
Who
but
started the fire of consciousness?
I'm giving an example of just doing what it does. Okay. But I believe that this energy or consciousness or whatever you want to call it has always been. But I don't believe it's this God or this, there's nothing that is for me or against me. I'm responsible for my own life. I'm responsible for my own.
We all are. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And the devil didn't make me do it, and God didn't bless me.
The
It just-
consciousness didn't make you do it either, right?
I
Okay.
make my own decisions,
Good. That's good. I mean,
Some
when
not
people
so good.
don't have invisible people making decisions for them, it's always best.
Okay, I'm going to be confusing people here because I'm going to have to keep flipping back and forth between where I am today and what I followed for 25 years as a pagan.
Hmm.
You know, but I went along with the same basic idea of, you know, like this universal life force, and that basically, you know, after we die, it's like our life essence, or whatever you want to call it, is, you know, this energy, and the energy goes back into the pool, and, you know, when a new life form is born, it takes a little energy out of the pool to have a conscious of its own. So every time something dies, it goes back to the pool to get recycled into another life form.
Yeah, well, that is true to an extent. I mean, the energy is recycled, but consciousness, being able to remember, like this is almost implies like remembrance of past lives, or like what your atoms did before they joined to make you, and your know when your sister is going to call you, kind of shit.
Yep, and that was always the $64 million question of, can you retain any memories from a previous life? Or is it just, you know, all the abstraction of all the constituent elements go back, but there's no coherency to it?
Well, I'm thinking Penny's idea is more in terms of like once you die and you go back into the consciousness, you aren't renewed. You remain there forever, so that you can remain who you are, and the essence of who you are remains the same. It doesn't change by going and getting implanted into another person.
Well, actually, I do believe in reincarnation.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, I do believe in
Oh.
reincarnation.
It goes deeper.
But
I love it. I love this.
I have to say that to
aren't we
this
supposed
day,
to pick on what was it? The Bible says what? Aren't we
Yeah.
supposed to pick on him?
Pick on me. Bring
I
it on.
have to say, if there is any type
I'm not
of
picking
an
on you, Penny.
afterlife,
Just so we know. I'm not picking on you.
I-
I'm just-
I still
I'm
think
just-
reincarnation makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He's somebody on my side.
Well, okay, you know, where I wound up with is, you know, like I said, I was a pagan for 25 years, and I tried to use the scientific method. I tried to do experiments. I pretty much gave it up because I couldn't get consistent results. On the other hand, there's still a lot of shit that I lack good explanations for.
Yeah.
But just because you don't have the explanation or the answers doesn't mean you should insert the answer
Right,
before
and-
you have it. And I think
Right,
that's what's going
and that's
on
where
with the
I'm at now.
spirituality,
That
with the
I've still
consciousness.
got a lot of
and
questions
all
that I
that.
just don't have the answers for.
So, Penny, where do you get the idea of this consciousness from? Where does your like? You had to come up with this idea of a consciousness at some point. Where does that come from?
So you're picking my brain. You're heading into dangerous territory here.
We're
The
diving into Penny's
consciousness
brain here.
told
Here we
her.
go.
You know, I really don't remember. I just think that, you know, throughout the experiences I had, that was just somewhere along the line the conclusion that I came to. But I'm always open to other. I mean, I have made, like Jim would say, 180s a lot.
Yeah.
And something that would happen and be like, oh, okay, this isn't right. I mean, I went from, you know, Christian to non-religion, you know, because like one day it just dawned on me, you know, this isn't right. You know,
But you're still a deist, though. I mean, you drop the religion part of it, but you're still a deist. You still believe there's a power out there.
because of my own experiences, because, you know, like we were
Because of
talking,
the unexplained.
oh man, you don't have enough time.
It's true, I don't. But
Yeah, you don't have enough time. Just my own feelings, my own connections, or what I like to call uploads. Sometimes, like something will just come to me like from nowhere, and
that's how thoughts work, though. That's how ideas come to you. It's like the light bulb moment.
But
Bam,
where was
I
it
got an
come
idea.
from?
I don't attribute it to Spider-Man. I don't attribute it to some magical invisible force. I attribute it to my own brain. My subconscious has picked up somewhere and it's been thinking about it. It's come up, and now it's at the surface. And now I have that idea. I'm not going to attribute it to any kind of invisible magical force. It's my brain. This is what
I
happens.
see it as an invisible magical force. And matter of fact, to me, magic is just something that hasn't been explained yet. You know,
Conscious,
scientifically.
your invisible magical consciousness guy. I mean,
Well-
it seems very magical to me. It's invisible. We all kind of just float in it, and I don't know. It's very magical to me.
No, that's to you. It's not magical to me. It's just a consciousness. It's
Yeah.
just
But it is magical to you by your own definition of magic, which was, something we can't explain, and you can't really fully explain the consciousness. Therefore, by your definition, it's magical.
well,
Randy's
okay.
got a point.
I'll give you that. Okay, but I'm not talking like, bibbly bobbly boo, boom. You got
Yeah.
Magic.
Yeah,
It's not going to grant your wishes.
right. We're not
Yeah.
talking genies here. We're just talking magic in general. It's a magical
Mhm.
thing. Granny, you're coming on my show next time. Next time I'm
Yeah.
having a guest on, you're just gonna sit there and help me out. I love this. This is great.
Real quick, guys. Regarding the my sister and I are so linked that I know when she's going to call. I was thinking about it. It was part of my course I took. I took a 1-month course offered by Dr. Richard Carrier. It's only $50. If you go to richardcarrier.info, he's got a whole list of courses, a whole course listing, and really this field. It was critical thinking for the 21st century. I really cannot recommend it enough. It was really cool. Even if you think you have great critical thinking skills, this will really help you see some. It'll pull the screen back on a lot of stuff. But one of the textbooks in it was this, so I had to buy this and read the whole thing. There's an entire chapter in there about like weird things that happen between me and my best friend, my sister, my family member, whatever. And one was telephone calls. I thought about, and then it does the graph. And man, it just breaks it all down math. Like the number of times I received a phone call, the number of times I thought about a person and then received a phone call, but it wasn't them. The number of times I thought about a person, received a phone call, and it was them. It breaks it down, and you think it's so weird, but it's maybe a fraction of 1% of the time. It was actually someone you thought about within a minute, and then they called. But yeah,
Counting the hits. Not
yeah, it's the
misses,
Texas sharpshooter fallacy. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
No misses.
Yep.
Not on that one. Just saying,
Dragons-
man. Sorry, but it's true. I don't know what to think of it either. I don't fucking believe in that shit. I don't believe in any magical fucking fairies in the sky or anything, so I have no explanation for it.
Well, instead of just saying, "Oh, it's it's weird," like this is
weird.
where I would expect someone like us to go, "God, that is weird. Let me get to the bottom of this. Let me."
I
think
did
about-"
pick it
Now-
apart. I didn't do it with anybody else. And every time in that 5-year time span that I was home when she called, I knew she was going to call. There was just I can't find any other way around it, Jim. That's the thing. There's no reason. It wasn't any certain time of day. It would be anywhere from 2 p.m. to 9 or whatever p.m. till bedtime. My mom went to bed around 9 and everybody would stop calling. So it was like in a 7-hour time span, and it happened
That's a
like
big time.
Well, okay.
9,
and
10 times
to
over the
use
course of that time.
scientific method, okay, you've got a question. You have to postulate some kind of a theory. So
Right.
to me, it seems that the next step is, okay, somehow you're passing a message between two people
Right.
who cannot perceive each other through any of the normal senses.
Right.
So what is the mechanism for a thought to pass from one person to another?
Fuck if I know. You tell me. I don't know.
the
I
answer.
told you I am not a learned man. I don't know.
Electromagnetic charge.
Dum dum dum.
Dum dum dum.
Not some
From
magical
7
force, though.
states away.
Weird. Well,
He was in Florida when that happened, when she lived in the same state and moved to Florida.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, it's
I
got
have
to
no
be Jesus. I mean, there's no other explanation.
No, that shit's blah,
Jesus
blah,
doesn't
blah,
know no
blah,
boundaries of
Blah
state.
blah blah blah. I'm not
Haven't
listening
you
to
ever
that.
just instantly connected with somebody? Like as a massage therapist.
Yeah, we all have something in
there are
common. It
clients
happens
that
all
I
the
can
time.
instantly connect with. I know exactly where to go. I hit the right, and I give the best massage I ever
Well, if
had.
you're a trained massage therapist, you should know by the way they're walking, they carry themselves, how they sit down on the bed.
In
stuff
some
like that.
cases,
And
that's
that could
it.
be totally subconscious that you don't even know that you recognize it because you've been doing it for so long.
Okay, that's a possibility. I'll give you
See, now
that.
you're getting the medical shit. Now I'm on board. now I'm on board. There's lots. I can look. I used to watch patients walk in the office and go, "Oh, that guy's got a bad back. That guy has a bad left knee. That guy looks like
Oh
he."
yeah, you can see it's the same thing with the vet field. I'm in the vet field. I mean, you see an animal walk in, you give me
Exactly.
one symptom, and you look at the animal, you can pretty much
Yes.
guess what's going to happen.
Okay, I will
Yes.
give you that. Yeah,
Or
I
at
mean,
least what area the problem is in, like knee, hip.
Well, I mean,
Whatever.
obvious, yeah. We're gonna have
Yeah.
some hip issues
Okay.
here. Time for some X-rays.
Yeah, right,
maybe some
exactly.
blood work. We're over
See,
5
but that's
years
something
old.
you could be doing subconsciously and not even realize that you're judging them from the minute you see them. How long have you been a massage therapist?
20 years.
See, you don't even think about it anymore. My ex, she's been practicing medicine for almost 19 years now. This summer will be 19 years. And she like looks at people and smells them. She's like, he's got prostate cancer. And I'm like, what? And she was right. But she doesn't even have to think about it anymore. It's just automatic for her. She sees somebody's skin color and, oh, they're lacking vitamin D, or they might have leukemia, or whatever it is. And she doesn't sit there and study them. She just glances at them and she knows.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that's what most people refer to as intuition. Is that
Yes.
your brain is putting together a bunch of clues you weren't even consciously aware of.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly. That's what I'm saying to her. Like that, her knowing where that person's problem is in their back or hip or whatever could be just because she's looked at so many people that her brain's just doing the work for her and she's not thinking about it. It's all subconscious.
No, okay, I'll give you that. That's true. I mean,
Can't fight that one, can you? See, I know. That one, I know. I got you on that one. No, I'm just teasing. I'm not trying to get anybody.
Mind all the time. I'll look at him and I'll just touch something and he'll hit the ceiling and I'm like, I knew something was wrong there. And he goes, "Oh, that just hurts so good." But
I love that.
Well,
hurts
but
so
that's
good.
because by the way, you know him. And if you have repeat customers, you get used to that person as well. You don't have to think about it anymore.
I just wanna
Guys,
point
real
out-
quick, real 1 second, real quick. Oz is backstage. I only have room for 6. I'm not kicking anyone
I'll
out.
go.
No, I
No,
need to go
no,
make
no,
dinner
no.
anyway. I need to go make dinner.
Ooh, what are
Are
you
you
making?
sure? I'll jump
I'm
out.
making
I
mac
don't
and
care.
cheese.
I love
Everybody's-
mac and cheese.
Everybody sees me all the time, so I don't care. I can leave.
No. Granny's got to
No.
make dinner anyway. Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
got to make dinner anyway.
All right, Kelly. Thanks
All
for
right.
coming.
Thank you for having me
Bye,
on.
Kelly.
It was
Love you,
good
sweetheart.
meeting you what the Bible says.
You're
Everyone
totally
go to
coming on my
Godless
show,
Granny.
Granny.
I
it
will.
was
Contact
nice
me.
to actually talk to you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you too.
Go
She's great.
to Godless Granny if you haven't already subscribed to her. Really, it's worth your time. It is worth your
Absolutely.
while.
She puts out great content.
oh
She
my
does a
gosh.
lot of research on it. She checks and dots and crosses
She's
her
a
T's. She's great.
perfectionist too.
She's great.
Yeah.
Like
And she
don't
does her
sub to
homework.
me. I just do live bullshit. But no, her you should really sub to her for real.
She puts a
If
lot
you
of
learn
time into
anything
those
today,
scripts.
it's- Sub to the Granny.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
I
Bible
should
Study
find that
Live,
lipstick.
and Be No Just Be, and Purple Rhymes with Orange, and Holistic Liberty.
It's Uncle Beck now.
Oh, did you change? It's not.
Yeah, I
Be No
changed
Just
my name.
Be.
Well, everybody started calling me Uncle Beck. I'm like, fuck it. I might as well just
That's-
roll with it.
You know what? It's
I
gonna be
was
so much
wondering where the
easier.
uncle had come from.
Yeah. I'm Uncle Beck everywhere, and sometimes with a 71 on the end because it wouldn't let me do the Uncle Beck.
Awesome. Well, I like
So.
it. If you, it
Thanks.
rolls off the tongue better.
Doesn't it?
Oz. Yeah, you're muted.
Oz.
There you go. What's up?
What up?
Hey, buddy.
What up? What up?
My brother from another mother. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Yeah, go definitely subscribe to Granny's, and then go to Tang and then hit the subscribe button twice. You do not want to watch those bastards.
Oh
No,
When
3
is
times.
when's the Better conference? That didn't get canceled, did it?
No.
Oh, it's still going.
June 25th.
Oh, it's in June
26th.
now. It was May, so you guys pushed it to the right a little bit.
Yeah, well, yeah, because of that new variant that it came out of COVID,
Right.
we chose to push it back.
Okay, awesome. It's in June.
Is that in Canada or the States?
Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Indiana.
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Close to 2 major airports, easy to get to. I wish I could go.
What I had some notes. What were we talking about? Did you
Well,
leave
I'd
off
like
somewhere,
to
Michael?
comment on
Oh, yeah.
something that Dragons and Genesis said in the side chat
Yes,
there.
that's exactly what I was going to address. Go ahead.
Yeah, he said, I'm autistic and don't connect with anyone except dogs.
Exactly where I was going.
And yeah,
Nice.
that's I'm also autistic, and I always say that I do well with animals and small children. Teenagers and adults, not so much.
Yeah. No, I mean, Kat even said it best here. Dogs are the best. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's mostly cats, just
Oh,
because I've
and
lived
cats.
with cats my entire life.
I love all animals, though. Don't listen to me.
I'm slightly biased. I do love dogs a little bit more. They have less weapons because, working in the vet field.
Yeah. That's true.
Well,
That's true.
I would have dogs as well if I had the space for them. Just in a small apartment, I think it's unfair to a dog. You need to have a yard so they got
Yeah.
someplace to run around.
I like cats because you just feed them. You can leave them for days and they don't care. They're like, see you, motherfucker. I'm sleeping on your bed.
Hey, to,
They don't
to,
give a
But you
shit.
can't do that with kids? What?
No, or dogs. No, you
to
can't.
keep this in line with the theme of the overall
like it.
theme so far of the show, consciousness between cats and dogs, which have a higher, if consciousness is all relative scale and humans are not done with their maybe we have a lot more room to grow. Are dogs, which one, dogs or cats, higher in consciousness or self-awareness?
Which one has the more
think you
moral?
run into
Cats
the
do.
problem you always have when you ask anything about dogs and cats. Is dogs are easy to test because they'll do anything to please their favorite human.
Yeah.
Cats
But
are
that's
really
not a
hard to
cognitive-
test because it's really hard to figure out with a cat what's going to motivate them to get you consistent results.
But obeying commands
there's-
is not a cognitive skill test.
Okay.
There's
Here-
other
No,
ways
but
to
I'm-
test cognitive skill.
Okay. Cats think they're gods, and dogs think we're gods.
That's why most people like dogs better. I like cats better because they are like, fuck you, bro. No.
I've met some cats that are
I
very
like somebody that stands up for themselves.
very, very person pleasing for sure. It
Yeah.
just depends on the cat, I guess. But yeah, no, dogs are. I've had this conversation recently, actually. Who's more moral, a dog or a cat? Well, the dog will sacrifice its life for its owner, or for a friend, or somebody in the pack. A cat does not give a fuck. They will
No,
push
they're
you out the
all
window.
number
They will
one.
knock over
Yeah.
everything.
They're going to
Start a
take care of
fire.
number one. You're right.
But
They have
get
that
this,
survival instinct like
but
that.
get this,
though. They're
Michael.
like, fuck this, I'm out.
get this, Michael. A cat that is evilly conscious of the fact that he could help you and is choosing not to would be a higher level consciousness than a dog
true.
who is simply obeying out of just muscle memory and not understanding why he's trying to save you.
Let me tell you something though. If cats want to save something, there, for
No.
instance, there's a guy I follow on TikTok, and his cat came up to the door and dropped a baby squirrel, and he was like, "What are you doing?" Because the cat usually doesn't eat outside things, and then he realized it was alive, and she ran away over by a tree and looked at him and just sat down, and he walked over there, and there was 2 more baby squirrels laying there, and they were, like no
He says,
eyes
"Look, I brought
open,
you dinner,
hairless."
Dad.
No, she was trying to save him.
How
She
do
was
you
trying
know?
to save him, and he picked him up, and she like sniffed him and looked at him like, I found him, like she was happy.
Our
You know.
dog did that once. That one by one, he brought me 5 baby squirrels because their nest had been knocked out by the wind.
Yeah, that's what
So
happened with
I had
these
to
squirrels.
climb
yeah.
up the tree and find a place that I could put the baby squirrels for the mother to come back and get them.
Right.
I'm right there with you, Jason. Dragons and Genesis. Cats hate me, so I leave them alone. That's exactly where I'm at. I have other people at work that can handle the cats. You take care of that. I'll get this dog over here.
Supposedly, if you die and you're in your home and the cat's there, it will eat you. So
Yes. Well,
Okay,
some
but-
dogs will too. I mean,
Now,
in
a lot
fairness.
of this is stereotyping cats. All right, when I fell off a roof and I couldn't walk for about 2 weeks.
mhm.
The first day, one of my cats brought me 11 mice in the first 2 days because he was
Oh.
afraid I wouldn't be able to feed myself.
I love it. Our cat doing that growing up on the farm did that. She would bring in birds and mice and little
Well,
squirrels
I mean, he'd
and
bring
drop
one
it on
into
the
the house.
She would carry it into the kitchen and drop it in front of the oven and the stove and look at my mom like, "You gonna cook that up?"
She
Yeah.
brought it for
And
you
my
for
mom
dinner.
would be like, "Can you guys get this damn bird out of my kitchen?"
Well, he'd bring one into the house from time to time all along, but just, when he saw that I wasn't able to walk around, You know,
Yeah.
he spent his full time just bringing mice to me. That was his
Good
whole
cat.
job.
Good cat. That would be a good zombie survival cat. Like, yes, bring me
Oh,
mice.
there
I
you
will
go.
eat them now.
Oh, that's a good idea. Train some cats and dogs to bring you shit from the outside.
There you go.
That's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Thanks.
And then when you don't have anything, just eat the cat.
Yeah,
they
well,
all
there
have
you
their
go.
own personality too, because like my son had 2 cats, Morris and Fatty Poofballs. I should have never let him name that
Cats
cat.
have the best names,
Yeah,
honestly.
and Morris passed away, but before Morris was friendly. You come in, he'd jump up on you, love you, claim you as his human. You know, Fatty's still alive, but she would run and hide. You know, but since Morris passed away, Fatty will be more sociable, but still not like Morris. You know, so they
Yeah.
they have their own personality.
Oh, they
So did
totally do.
Did the cat that liked you more have more of a connection with the universal consciousness, or what?
I don't know.
I love that answer because we don't know.
That's a good
Sometimes you
answer.
have to say, I don't know. It's okay to say that.
But when the I don't knows pile up, that's where I have an issue. Penny, it's the same thing with all these religious people I talk to. The I don't knows, they pile up. I don't know. I don't know. Well, we have a pile of I don't knows, and yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what it is. So when the I don't knows are higher than the yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what it is, I throw out that yeah, I'm pretty sure.
See, that's why I don't go on these stuff
Science
debating
says,
people,
I don't
because
know.
I don't know. I just tell people that I don't know.
Right,
Okay.
so I don't believe it because I don't know, so I'm not going to believe it.
Don't
That's
fucking
where I'm at,
know.
Penny. That's where I'm at.
For me personally, in the pile of I don't knows, is a lot of stuff that I can't figure out how I could have had the information at the time I had it. That it seems that I could not have access to that information until, you know, in some cases, like 10 years later.
And how see subconscious comes into play, things you heard but you don't know you heard because you forgot, you know, all kinds of possibilities and things. I
Well,
can't
except that
attribute it
in-
to a consciousness. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, in one case, it was information I didn't have because the information was sealed under an order of a crown for 50 years after the end of World War II.
Whoa.
And this is stuff that somehow I knew about in the early 80s.
Wow. Okay, so get yourself a scientist and let's test all of this stuff. That's pretty amazing.
Well, like I say, this is the kind of stuff that, you know, I was trying to test, but it just came to a point that I didn't have the means to test it anymore.
Well, I'm sure there's all kinds of psychic scientist things going on right now, or experiments. There's the word, experiments that you can sign up for. Holy cow! If you have that kind of ability,
Guys,
What did you-
let me break in real quick.
In real life, I want to meet you.
Well, I'm in Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay.
Oz,
That makes it kind of hard.
what do you have to say? I'm trying to think of a way to bring Oz into the conversation. The only things that come up are, well,
Oz is a kick-ass man. Tell
some
us about that,
entertainment
Oz.
news. Noah, how's the relationship with how's the celebrity they're a power couple. He's
They're
I don't know if
totally
you still
fucking
are.
happy.
Oh, they're good. They're still good. All right, Jenna Miu, right?
Oh my god.
Yes, sir.
Oz is like, man, my respect for you, or my thoughts
That's
of the
all.
size of your dick are about 3 inches for that. Because that's pretty good, man.
Jesus
Like,
Christ.
she's amazing. She's amazing. I'm
She's
really
badass.
happy.
I just
Actually,
think that's
yeah.
cool.
honestly, you know how I feel about both of you. I love you guys to death, and I think you're fucking amazing people. And I'm so happy you guys found each other. Like, real talk. I
Because
really
the
am.
only
Thank
other
You're
the only
dating
other-
Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Damn near.
Oh
It's
man,
more
that's
like-
so cool.
It's more like Jenna, the Christian Slayer. Like, she doesn't take any shit. She's brilliant. She's fucking
Yeah.
brilliant.
And try to name another atheist power couple. I mean, there's Shoe on Head and what's it, Armored Skeptic, but they both went kind of far right. They're not even they don't do atheist content
There's the-
anymore.
Well, Paula G and Shannon
and
Hughes.
Eric Murphy.
Paul and
Atheist
Shannon,
nomads.
and then the Gleason twins,
Eric
Yeah.
Murphy. Who's the Gleason twins?
Sean and Caitlin, the godless
Oh.
engineer. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
we
John,
had
yeah,
a falling
John
out, so
and-
I use Gleason twins kind of
It's
as
Casey,
a
isn't it?
derogatory.
This is his wife's
Huh?
name's Casey. Casey.
Casey, Caitlin, yeah. So yeah, I guess
Okay.
there are a couple others.
Yeah, and Eric Murphy and Vila Bianca.
Oh gosh, damn it.
And then there's Arden and Matt.
Oh,
Now that's a
That's-
power couple right there.
yes.
They
That-
are
yeah.
the atheist and / trans community power couple. They really
That's so awesome too.
That's
I
where
had a
Oz
chance
and
to
Jenna will be at in a year.
sit- right? That'd be cool
Yeah,
as
man.
hell.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have some more questions. Oh gosh, there's dead air, and I had some questions. Okay.
Well, I'll just
so-
say real quick about the consciousness. I agree with all the I don't knows, and I always say I am consciously unconscious about my consciousness. I just don't know what the fuck to even say.
Thank you. I'm using that.
Yeah,
Love
I
it.
like that. I like that.
I hate to keep quoting Sam Harris. He is a neuroscientist. He's an expert in the field. I don't agree. I don't necessarily agree. It's just not that I have evidence contrary to it. I just don't want to admit that he could be right about us not having any free will whatsoever. It's scary to think that. But he also says on the topic of consciousness that, oh, no, it wasn't him. It might have been Neil deGrasse Tyson. It was an astrophysicist. But he said, if we were to meet an extraterrestrial intelligence, the odds of them being so far ahead of us, they would be given how old the universe is, the odds are overwhelmingly in favor of them having an intelligence higher than we have to a bed of ants. And so if they're this many millions of years ahead of us, and we're not even a million, we're basically in the same evolutionary plane as an ant. And look what we're not hostile to ants. We don't go out of our way to like go out into a field and kill them for sport. But if we want to put a highway, if we want to put a flower bed there, we have no qualms with just ending them, just exterminating them. And I think that's the same way. I just don't think we're done evolutionarily with our consciousness. I think it's a process. Everyone, not just believers, non-believers, we get in this loop where we think we're at the pinnacle of our consciousness. We're at the pinnacle of our evolution. No, we're still a work in progress. Our language has developed so much just in the last 50,000 years. So we're still evolving.
I think our language is degrading from now on, though. I mean, totes my goats and all that stuff. I'm
Most of
attributing
my
to it, though.
arguments
It totally
against the Christian God are based on the idea that we're the pinnacle of his creation.
Oh,
If this is the best he could do, he's got a lot of questions to answer.
nailed it. For
Right.
sure. Holy cow.
I just noticed Kitty. What's the
Oh,
cat's name?
This is Jameson. My son named him my son. Well, it's my son's ex-girlfriend had him, and she named him Jameson after alcohol.
After
I always give cats like mythological or astrological names and stuff, and I get one that's named after whiskey. I'm like,
Well, actually, when I was growing up, we had a cat that was actually named Butterscotch, but everybody called him Scotch.
day.
And then we had one that, of course, generically named Whiskers. Everybody's got a cat named Whiskers, so everybody
Or
called
had
him
one, right.
Whiskey.
Yeah.
Or Luna.
So
whiskey.
the next one we got, we just gave up and called him Brandy right off.
I just call him baby boy, and he answers to it. All I have to say is boy, and he'll be like, "What? What the?"
Okay, I had a dog, a little Chihuahua, 4 pounds, soaking wet. She passed away last year.
Aw.
And when I got her, I wanted to name her after a friend of mine who was fighting in Iraq, Rhonda. And my late husband says, well, let's name her Rendezvous, Rhonda for short. And then he gave her the middle name Do. So it was Rhonda Voodoo.
I do love me some voodoo. Just saying. Just saying. Voodoo Ranger, best beer out
Touche.
there. You gotta stop, though. You
Touche.
gotta stop.
I like you, man. We gotta
Not
hang
good
out
for you.
sometime.
Absolutely. Let's
We
have
just
some
need to-
voodoo together.
Yeah, we need to just get together and drink and hang out sometime. For real.
I do.
Oh,
have
another
to-
question. Another question I had for Oz. When the Better Conference begins in June, what if David Silverman walks in and sits in the front row? What would you do?
Well, after the last 60 to 90 days that I've had in our little hood, I'd probably kick his ass out.
Which is, you're right. Same reason Twitter is what do you guys think about Twitter is not a public utility, and if you violate You know, they don't have to follow the rules of the United States government. They are a private entity. They can set their own terms of service. They can kick out whoever they want. But have they gotten so big that they now should be considered a public utility?
Good question. I hadn't thought about it.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as social media goes, these companies own it. I mean, it's their prerogative, whatever they want to do with it. I mean,
Yeah, it's just like you can say some stuff on YouTube, you say it on Twitch, and they'll stop your stream. You know, every pump. It's just like people say, "Well, I don't have to wear a mask. There's no mask mandate. They took it off." Well, if the
Those are the
little
rules.
company, mom and pop company, or any company wants you to wear that mask in the building, you have to.
no
the
shoes,
same
no
thing.
shirt, no service, man.
That's right. No mask, no
Boom,
service.
roasting.
Right.
Are you guys reading the argument in the live chat?
Yes, I've
Otangelo's
been
in there, by the way.
randomly. Yeah.
there's all
caught
kinds of stuff
parts
going
it.
on.
I haven't been able to follow it.
Yeah.
Talk about the
well,
proteins.
I like Otangelo. He's a great guy. I actually enjoy.
He is a
talking
nice
to him.
guy.
He's just kind, and I mean this in the most respectful possible way. But he's kind of a one trick pony. Seems like
Yeah.
he only has the one idea that, you know, and I think he's kind of saying it in here. But he did bring up a point, like here it is. You can split a brain in two, but you can't split consciousness in two as well. I have so many ways I want to explain that to him. Do you guys have anything? Any
Well,
good way to?
Whether
I
or
don't
not
know.
you can split a consciousness in two, you first have to define what the consciousness is before you can determine if you have two whole consciousnesses or if you have two halves of what was the original.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't think that consciousness
point.
is physical.
It's the byproduct of the brain. It's not physical. It's not necessarily abstract like the letter A or the number 7, but it's definitely not physical. It's a byproduct. It's like the exhaust from your car.
But we can
If
recreate
you
that,
could have
though.
you could have X. Okay, here's Jim Hall's consciousness as is. Now, someone walks up behind me and hits me like in a certain lobe of my, I don't know, somewhere, a certain hemisphere of my brain, and literally this is the case. People get in a traumatic brain injury in a certain part of their brain, and they can remember. They lose age 7 to 13, or they know what this does. They know a pen goes on here and it writes things, but he doesn't know the words. He could still write stuff, but he doesn't know that it's called a sentence. You know,
Right.
Your brain can get really wonky. So
Yeah.
is that affecting our consciousness?
I
Good
think
point.
I'm not quite sure. I think there's a difference there because I know when I was in 4th grade and I was ice skating, I lived in Ohio. We ice skated outside and I slipped and fell and I hit my head so hard I was knocked out, and everything that happened before then seemed like a dream. Okay. But the moment that I was knocked out, I couldn't remember. And I just, you know, I don't know if that's because we say, you know, we've gone unconscious or whatever, but at the same time, how many times has people like died, okay, and then came back, you know, near death experience, and you can say, oh well, you know, the brain takes its time and all that, and that's where they're approaching the light, but they've never been able to explain to people to say, okay, when I died, I heard the conversation going on in the next room, and they were able to quote and tell their families, you know, you guys are talking about this. They couldn't explain that. And I'm like, it's a consciousness. It's, you know, maybe the consciousness lives in our brain or our body. And you and I discussed, Jim, about the heart, because the heart has a mind. I know
That sounds like
all the hairs in your body just went up right now, but you know,
yeah.
Well, part
That
of
sounds like
consciousness,
yeah.
part of consciousness is our memories. You know,
Part
and
of it.
clearly the memories are stored in the brain because, like what Jim was saying, that when sections of the brain get damaged, people lose parts of their memories.
mhm.
And not
at
just
least
memory,
part
your
of it is
ability
stored
to-
in the brain there.
Your cognition faculties get really weird. I mean, there's some really weird ones. And Jason Ellis, it's Ralph in here, but it's my friend Jason. He brought up a good point. When the corpus callosum holds it's like a gelatin or what cartilage. It holds your hemispheres of your brain together, and it can be cut right down in two. And it helps with people with some severe seizures. But now you basically have two brains. And get on YouTube and look up people that have their corpus callosum separated. Crazy. They can cover this eye and they can know your name. Then they cover this eye. They've totally forgotten your name, but they know last time they saw you. It's basically two different people in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look into that. That's interesting.
Yes. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've heard of cases like that.
But that's
I don't
also
know.
okay, like the people who've had a heart transplant, and all of a sudden they're having memories that don't belong to them, and then they find out, information that the person who had that heart prior to them, like maybe all of a sudden this person is having memories that are sports related, but they've never been a sports type person, but the person that had the heart prior to them were heavy into sports or something like that.
Did you ever think that maybe that the person that got the donated heart, because they will tell the family and the person that person's history?
No, they're not supposed to do that though.
Well, medical, yeah. They have a right to know that person's medical history. Or were they a healthy person? Yeah, they played sports. Cool. Well, now I might see them playing sports because I'm thinking about it.
I played sports, but I wasn't very healthy.
I'm just, you see what I'm saying, though. Smart ass. You see what I'm saying, smart ass. Should call you SA from now on. I like it.
Well, the last name is Wiseman. I've been called Wise Ass
Oh,
my whole
okay.
life. So,
I used to know a family with the last name of Wise.
Yeah.
Well, they were pretty stupid. It's not really true.
It's not true.
But anyways, not
Definitely not.
I figured they were named after the chips and not the owl. Anyways.
I've always wanted to sit down one-on-one and have a conversation with somebody that's had a near-death experience, like car accident or whatever. Because in 2003, I got T-boned by a dump truck, and they had to, I coded out. I was gone, and two different times, once in the ambulance and once in ICU. And at that time, I was still a believer, and it did affect my memory as far as losing memory. Like my memory still to this day, obviously, is fucking terrible. But I didn't have it. Like I didn't see lights. I didn't see angels. I didn't see demons. I didn't hear voices. I did none of that. So, and obviously that's anecdotal on my end. That's what I would love to sit down and compare stories or experience, because I didn't see or feel any of it. So I feel like if there is a God, he fucking hates me.
I think it's because those people believe in it. It's because they believe in it. I mean, come on, when your body's shutting down, your brain fucking knows it.
But
And I think that people subconsciously know they're going, and because they think that they're going to see a bright light and hear a voice or whatever, I think that's why they see and hear it.
Okay, well, I'm one of those weird people after my husband died, and I looked up a lot of this, near-death experience and listened to these stories on YouTube and stuff like that, because, my husband had died, and I just kind of, wanted an understanding.
Right.
And, but some of them, they didn't have a belief. They were an atheist or something like that, and they still don't believe in God. They just... It's the other possibility is that some people remember it, some don't.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, of the ones that do remember it, though, there are also always very cultural attachments. How the people experience the near death, and who they say they have seen or met when it happens, is always based on the religion they were raised in.
Yeah. Well, and that's my thing with my experience at that time, still being a believer. I come from the very extreme charismatic evangelical, where heaven and hell were pounded into my brain. And once I deconverted, it was 2 or 3 years of regular therapy just to reroute that part of my brain that I wasn't, terrified of the thought of burning in hell. So it's not like that belief wasn't there. Like that was definitely there.
Yeah. Well, and I've pondered a bunch of my experiences of that, how your personal filters, how you interpret things, and just seeing that when I was a Christian, how I probably would have seen it, when I was a pagan, how I probably would have seen it, and how I see it today. And yeah, a lot of that goes through the filters of what you believe at the time.
Right. Agreed.
I would love to be able to die be dead for a couple hours, come back and say, hey, this is what happens.
I feel boring. All these stories
You
I
ain't
hear, I
coming
feel boring
back.
'cause
Well, I mean, that's what would make it different, because if it was a couple hours, you can't say, well, it was the brain doing its thing.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'd love to be able to do that and then come back. But the thing is what if I come back and I say, hey, death was better. It was cooler on the other end, but it would just be
Hey,
interesting.
excuse me, nerd. Can you see that needle? I like you better over there. I'm going back.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. This is not obligatory. If we're having a good time, because if I bring in Otangelo, I love the guy to death. Remember, that's my proviso. But he can be. We're gonna have to keep him terse. If we bring him in, we got to keep him to short sound bites because he tends to kind of want to drone on and on. Are you guys okay with bringing him in, or do you guys just want to keep it non-believers or non-believer adjacent? Penny.
Well, I thought we're full up anyway.
Oh,
Well,
that's
if-
right.
if you-
That's right.
if you guys want to bring him in, I'll dip because I don't platform with Tangelo. So.
Oh, you know what? No, I'd rather have you than Otangelo. I'm so sorry. I will have you on though. I'm not averse to having you on. I've had him on several times, but if you want to, oh well, he already left. If you want to come back, Otangelo, as soon as someone leaves, I'll jump you in. But yeah, I totally see your point, Oz. I can see why too. I understand.
I will say one thing though. Native Atheist said he's a transphobe. And if he's transphobic against gays, then I don't know why he spent 30, 45 minutes on one of my streams just BSing with us about not religion, and we had a great time. So if he is, you might want to tell us that, Otangelo, because then you're not invited back on my streams. But if you aren't, you're always welcome.
Well, let's just say that
We had a great time, but I wouldn't let him talk about religion. Sorry, Oz.
No, I was just going to say that for what you just said, the evidence is out on YouTube to support that claim.
Oof.
Okay, well then. Oh, okay. We need. I guess we'll have to look at the evidence and get back to you, Otangelo.
Would you call
I've
it?
never had any problems having you on my channel.
Yeah.
I've got a ton of Christian friends. I don't consider them homophobic, but if I put it to them, do you think they're going to burn in hell? Many would say yes. Is that a homophobic?
That's what I was wondering. That's why I said I'd have to look into it.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of homophobic to say they're going, and I don't believe in hell anyway. But the
Oh
fact-
no, honey, they're just lost and they have no clue that what these people are telling them in church is a pile of fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And half the things they say aren't even in the fucking Bible. And they've heard it for so long and they're so indoctrinated, they literally have no clue. I feel bad for them. I feel bad that they are so brainwashed. I mean, I was in the army and I feel bad for them for being brainwashed. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like that's
And
how bad they are.
I'm always like, are you talking 1L hell or 2? Because the heathens believe in a 1L hell.
That's
So-
the Nordic hell with one L is really close to the Jewish Sheol. It's kind of just this. Yeah, it's this place where you go. It's not necessarily you're not in pain. It's just the afterlife, and it
Well,
just
they-
seems like a dark cave to me. I don't know, like
The
boring.
Viking version of Helheim is described as just being an endless frozen wasteland, that your punishment is eternal boredom. And to me, that's the most hellacious thing I can imagine. That's a
called
lot worse than the
calculus.
torture.
Are you kidding? I'd be like, I'd cut
Math
down some
class.
trees,
There
draw
are
on the
no trees.
sand.
There are no
Whatever.
trees. There's nothing but ice.
Oh, ice.
Ice.
Eternal boredom. Well, I mean, you
Hmm.
can do lots of fun things with ice. I mean,
I mean,
Yeah.
Hey,
I used to
you'd
throw-
never run out of water.
Yeah, you're just walking across the frozen ocean, and no matter how far you walk in any direction, all you can see is more ice.
geesh, you'd be really good at ice sculpting after a while, I guess.
Yeah, but with the way heaven's described, wouldn't that be internal boredom?
Oh, 100%.
This
Oh,
is
the
why
way
I
that-
say
The way the
of
Christians
choice-
say it in the Bible, yes.
Yeah. I
Yes.
don't want to be Yahweh's slave, worshiping him 24 hours
no.
every fucking day for
No.
eternity.
If
No
the
thanks.
Christians
Stuff
have
that
it right,
fluffy
I
white
would
cloud
rather
up your
go to
ass.
hell than to heaven, because I know I can tolerate pain better than I can tolerate boredom.
Touche.
Absolutely.
Touche.
Well, maybe I want to go to hell because most of my friends are there. I don't know.
Yeah. Seems like more fun.
Oh, Otangelo said, I made a mistake, recognize it, and I apologize.
Oh, Tangelo, I'd love to have a discussion with him. Bible says what? bswthepodcast@gmail.com. Find me
Yeah,
there.
hit him
Let's
up,
have a talk.
Otangelo. Yeah.
Listen to
Let's
that
see.
radio voice, damn. I'm jealous.
You said you wanted to interview me. and-
Yes.
Yeah, just get my number off of Jim, but text me. I don't-
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oz, I didn't get a chance in the private chat to say goodbye. So if you're still listening, thanks a lot to at least duck in and say hello.
Oz, we love you.
Hi, Oz.
Love you, buddy.
Yeah, we're gonna miss you.
All right, Otangelo, remember, nice and terse, short sound bites. That we're not going to
Here we go.
run on sentences. So consciousness, you say
Consciousness.
consciousness is like data or code. It cannot spontaneously come into being. And you need an intelligence to produce consciousness. An intelligent first cause. Correct? Is that a good steel manning of your position?
Yeah, hello guys. Yes, that's basically what I believe.
Okay, doesn't that in itself require that there had to be an intelligence that had to come into existence when there was nothing before?
Nice job.
No,
In
I
order to
believe
create the
in
consciousness and
I
everything
believe
else?
I believe in an eternal God which was not created.
Well, that makes no sense, though. If you say that consciousness has to come from something, but your God didn't
Yeah.
come from anything, how does that work?
Where'd he come from?
Special pleading?
He just is, yes, it's special pleading because he is
100%
not-
special pleading.
yes, and because he is not like us, he is above us, so of course he is special.
Well, I got two questions. Why is this God a he, and why do you believe this?
Well, through his
Nice job,
revelation in the Bible.
Well,
I'm
why
a
do you
Christian.
believe?
I am Christian. If you don't know, by the way, I'm a Christian, so I
Yeah.
believe what the Bible says, and I believe what the Bible reveals to us, and God reveals to us that He is a He.
But why do
So
you
the
believe
Bible, or how people have interpreted the Bible and told us what it said for the last whatever fucking amount of years.
No, I mean I believe that Jesus Christ.
No, I mean,
is
have you
God.
read the Bible yourself and wrote down your own interpretation of it?
Well, we all make an interpretation of what we read. when
No,
we read
no,
the
no, no, no.
Bible, right?
Have you read the Bible and done your own interpretation of it without
Sure.
outside influence?
Sure.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. And you
it
still
the
read it
Hebrew
the
or
way
the
any
Greek
other
that you
Christian
read?
does.
Well, you know,
You still read it like all the other Christians do, then.
you know, there are many things.
that's so wrong.
That makes no sense, is why I'm asking.
I feel bad for laughing.
Okay, did you
Damn
read the
it.
Bible word for word from the beginning to the end?
Yes, I did read it more than
Was there
once.
anything in there after you got done with the last page? Was there anything in there you had an issue with?
Oh, sure. There are many things which I don't understand and which I don't agree with, and of course,
Give us
I
an
don't-
example.
Well, one thing which I have really trouble with is that hell is eternal,
Yeah.
and I can't understand why it should be so. Why can someone not have a temporal punishment and can be just annihilated?
Do you think
Right.
we're all going to hell because we don't believe?
Well, I go with what the Bible says, and the Bible
But
says
you-
that in order for going to heaven, first of all, you need to want actually to have a relationship.
Yeah,
with
I'm
God.
not
Who
big on a
doesn't?
relationship
you
with a
just
documented
said
child
that.
killer.
Wait. Let him finish the
just said
sentence, you
that
guys.
don't
Come on
believe
now.
in the Bible. You have some problems. You have some issues with it.
Let him finish the sentence, though.
Okay,
Hold
yeah,
on.
let him finish this
Because we
thought.
don't know where he's going with it.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to be nice.
I mean,
Go ahead, Otangelo.
imagine that you want a relationship with someone,
Mhm.
and that person denies it, doesn't want to have that
Well,
relationship.
first off,
with
Otangelo,
you.
if I want a relationship with somebody, I'm going to show up. That's the first part right there. If I want a
Well, I
relationship
think
with my
that's-
wife, I'm going to
yeah, I-
show up to that date.
yeah, I think that
Yahweh
God
has
did
yet to show up to a date with me.
Yeah, I think that God did show up in
When?
Jesus Christ. He
I
became
wasn't
man.
there for that though, dude. What
Yes,
other
but
part?
Yes, but we have the Bible. You can read it. You can read the Gospels, who he was, what
Not
he
good
did.
enough.
So
Not
what
good
is our? So what? Give me some solid proof. You don't say the flood because there's no evidence of it ever happening. So don't
you
go
want
there.
To call it proof
Don't go
of what?
to mythology.
Of
Proof that this guy wants
What
to have
can
a
I
relationship.
look at? What can I look at
It's too
and
much.
touch and see and know that it's God?
the Shroud of Turin.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh, don't go there, honey.
No,
Yeah, you
no.
don't want
Oh,
to go
Tangelo,
there.
that's. I love you, man. That's the worst possible. No, the vast majority of believers know that was a fraud. That was created in the 13th century, during
There
the
was
medieval era.
just in the last few months came out a peer-reviewed science paper. They made X-ray tests and they dated to 2,000 years,
He
and
said, "Who's
nobody
they?
knows how
Who's
the
they?
image was made.
Who's
Do you
they?
want the link?
And what
give you the link.
scientific
Yeah.
peer-reviewed publication is this in?
Yeah, I give you the link. I'll put it.
Yeah,
in
because
the
I mean,
Nature
I'd like
magazine
to
or-
know, considering that science says that, you know, the Earth is way older than you guys. So how do you disprove that?
Hmm.
Because and the reason I asked you, well, hold on. The reason I asked you what I could like see or touch or whatever is because going through my life when shit has gone wrong, like for instance, my sister and my mother dying, they were believers. They begged for help for years. My sister begged for help for 7.5 years while she was fighting cancer and raising 2 children by herself. She begged every day, you know, help cure me or help me live longer so I can be there for my sons. You know, they were 17 and 15 when she died. She almost made it, you know? So every single time stuff like that's happened, I've been like, show me, motherfucker. Show me. Show me. Give me something I can fucking believe. Come out of the fucking sky. Make something miraculous fucking happen. And you know what's happened every time? Nothing. Zip, zero, zilch, and my life always got worse. So tell me why I should believe. Give me one good reason.
I mean, the problem of evil is something which is frequently mentioned by atheists, and I understand that it is a difficult problem. I agree with you on that.
Okay.
But there are answers, and if you investigate the issue, I mean, God could have.
None of the answers are good,
created-
Tangelo. None of the answers are sufficient.
It's
the
all
problem.
just like hypotheticals. Everything's fucking hypothetical, man.
It's all
There's
about a
no
feeling.
proof of any of it. Any of it. Do you
Okay,
think that if all that shit happened, how many years does the Bible span? I don't even know. How many years does the Bible span? Who knows? How many
As
years?
far as the
Thousands
when
of
it
years.
was written,
Atheist, Jim, you're on mute.
And to my knowledge, the Bible really wasn't even written until so many hundreds of years after.
But
Christ's
no,
death.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying the time that's written in there, the time span that's written in there. How long is it?
Thousands of years.
Let's just
at least.
Let's just say 1,000. Let's just say 1,000. Make it
Yeah.
easy. Why do we have no evidence of any of that?
Oh, I was muted. So it was 3 languages, 3 continents, 1,800 years was the time span of the Bible.
Okay, so
There it
1,800
is.
years.
From Genesis to Revelation.
Why the only thing that we have of evidence is the Shroud of Turin that's most likely faked?
We also have
Well, first
the
of all,
circumcision of
nobody
Jesus.
knows how it was made, the image.
We
It
haven't-
is not a painting. It matches perfectly with the accounts in the New Testament. And,
Except that he looked like he was laying in a recliner, not on a flat stone. Oh, you didn't know that one?
What?
He didn't look like he was laying on a flat stone on that.
Yeah, that's right. His knees were kind of bent. In
His
that.
knees were bent up, and he looked like he
Yeah.
was laying in a fucking recliner.
Yeah.
It is
Well,
fake.
So how did they get a dead man in that position to stay there?
Well, his
When
knees
people
were
die, you lay them
bent,
out flat so they don't fall over. Everybody's done that.
and if you look the backside of the shroud where the
Uh-huh.
knees are, there is not an image of on the knees, on the backside of the knees. That's precisely because there was a distance between the shroud and the knees.
Bullshit.
Okay?
Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
They do it like that, buddy.
Is
Like
your
really fake
reason
it.
for believing it? So you believe in the whole Bible because of the shroud, but yet you said earlier there were parts of the Bible that you had problems with or difficulty with, and this is just blowing my mind. I don't quite understand. You know,
Why would you believe an entire book when there's a bunch of it you don't understand or believe? How can you tell me you believe it?
yeah,
You said you believe
whatever-
it, but then you said you don't believe it.
Well, you know, whatever worldview you adopt, you will always find issues that you don't fully understand. But in the end, you need to have just a worldview which you think matches most with reality, even if there are things that you don't understand.
Right, and
Now
invisible
we're right
people
back
are
to that
not.
faith thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
invisible
This
people
is
are
not-
not part of my reality. Just saying.
Yeah.
If the Bible is the word,
I see it very frequently by atheists poking holes in the Bible, in the
It's so
theistic
easy to
worldview.
do.
Yes,
It's so easy to do. The Bible is such a ridiculous book.
just the fact that there are so many different interpretations of the Bible
Yeah.
shows that if the Bible is the word of God, for an omnipotent being, he sucks at communicating.
Terrible job.
Yeah.
You know,
He
my
needs
answer.
improvement.
My answer to that is this:
Faith.
if you want to have a consistent worldview which excludes the Creator,
Mhm.
rather than poking holes in the Bible or in any other religious book, what you
Bye,
need
Jason.
is to come up. Can I finish, please? You
No,
need
sorry,
to
just saying
come.
bye to the
Yeah, you need to come up with an explanation of how we can exist without.
No, I don't.
the
No, I
Creator.
don't.
We
Nope.
don't.
Nope. 100% no. I can tell you I don't know and not insert an invisible magical being. It's amazing. Watch this. You ready?
Wow.
You ready? I don't know how we got here.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
That's
I'll
it.
even go a step further.
That was so
I don't
easy.
know.
The Bible has its own holes. We don't have to poke them.
Yeah.
You know, it is
Yeah.
so easy, but it is also non-informative. Why are you telling
the
me
Bible,
what you don't
non-informative.
believe in?
Doesn't give us
Yeah.
really helpful information.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's a quick. Okay, my grandfather was a hardcore Baptist believer, and he married my grandmother, who later turned out, she kept hearing demons and all this and that and whatnot, and it turned out that she had schizophrenia. And he, even though he went to work, he come home, she's constantly yelling at him, constantly picking on him. He stayed married to her, even though life was hell with her, because he believed God wanted him to be with her.
That sucks.
Explain,
Sorry.
why would God do that? Why would God insist that he be with a woman who created hell on earth for him?
He probably thinks it's teaching him a lesson, right?
I
Tangela?
don't know. But he stayed married to her the day he died because
Such
he
a loving
believed,
God.
yeah, he believed God wanted him to be with her. Now, I love my grandma. She passed away too, but I loved her and everything. But I couldn't handle being married to somebody who would constantly badger me and
Fuck
was
no.
constantly in a mental hospital. And this did some damage to my mother. You
But
know, and
Penny,
she,
how
she-
do you know
It
that it
gets
was
passed on
God's
from
will?
generation to generation. for
Well,
sure.
she grew
Because
up
the Bible
dealing
says
with
so.
it.
The Bible tells us all of this is God's plan. So, I mean,
Why?
obviously.
You know, why?
I mean, if
I
you're
don't
going to be a
get it.
Christian, you got to go with the rest of the Bible, right? I mean, you got to follow through
I
with
mean,
the rest
honestly,
of the beliefs.
if I would be married to a woman which would be completely incompatible with me, I would separate to her.
Why? But if God ordained it, if God wants you to be with her, why would you separate yourself?
Because probably I would live better without her.
No. God is teaching you to be a stronger person. He's teaching you through all of these life trials.
That's
How
what
do you-
my sister used to tell me all the time. My sister used to
It's
tell me all
such
every time something went
horrible-
wrong. It's a lesson,
It's a
back.
lesson from
It's
Jesus.
a lesson. I'm like, motherfucker, I passed them all. How many do I need? My life has been hell since I was fucking like 6 years old. What do you want from me?
Oh,
It's not a
Tangelo,
lesson anymore. It's
please
torture.
explain to us why.
You know, I'm maybe a little bit more on the practical side. with
How is that practical,
Practical?
dude?
How is it
No,
practical that all these
No, no,
religious
what
people-
I'm saying, I would separate.
all
No,
these religious
no,
people-
no,
what
no.
about the
Jesus
child who
wants
gets
you to be
molested
with
by
this
a Christian
person.
because a child who gets molested by a Christian because
Ooh.
after all,
Don't get
it
me
gets
started.
molested by a Christian father because
get
the
me-
Bible said
Mm.
that incest is okay.
Oh, Tangelo,
How
what
is
about
that
rape in
practical?
church? Oh, Tangelo, what about Jesus? Where's Jesus when children are being raped in his church?
Well, has he not given us free will? Do you want to
Oh
remove
God,
everything
Tangelo, does he
from
not love
earth,
me?
which is-
Does he
which
not
is
love
bad?
the little children of the world? Oh, Tangelo.
What
I
about
don't
the free
think-
will of a murder
Of-
victim?
Of course he does.
One is
That's why
out.
he
Sorry.
says.
Sorry, Jim.
No, I predicted this, and it's not. You know what? I welcome it as long as you guys are cool with it. But I don't think Tangelo will take offense to this. But having him on sometimes is like masturbating with a cheese grater. Slightly enjoyable, but mostly painful.
I'll take your word for it. I've never tried that.
I have never tried that myself, sir, and I will never try that
We might be
myself.
too much, too. We might
Well,
be thinking
Tangelo,
about-
I'm just busting balls.
Yeah.
I like having.
No,
you on.
I am fine. I mean,
All right, all right.
I mean,
Okay,
I'm used to have
we have
conversations.
we have about 20 minutes left, so we can wrap up this. Conversation. Maybe touch on another quick one, but I want to give us at least 10 minutes to do final plugs and final thoughts. So about 10 more minutes, guys.
Well, I will say, Penny, he was practical about one thing. He is one of the first. Well, he's probably the fifth Christian I've ever met in my life that says they have issues with some of the things in the Bible.
Yeah.
So I will give him credit for the honesty there, because most Christians will not admit that. So thank you for that, Otangelo.
And
Well, the issue I
want-
have is a lot of Christians that will admit that just
Yeah.
make excuses for their God. And
Yeah,
that's the
I-
disgusting part. It's just, how
Well, at
can you
least
make
he's saying he
excuses?
doesn't understand why it's in there.
Right.
So that I appreciate. Yeah, I can appreciate that.
Right,
I
Penny,
gotta
sorry.
give him credit for coming on.
There
I
you
gotta
go.
give him a ton of credit for coming on. That
Oh,
that's-
Otangelo will come in anywhere and try to talk to anybody about it. Yeah, he will.
Yeah,
He's not scared.
He's been banned from 5 different shows down in Austin at the atheist community of Austin.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know,
No, actually,
I-
Jim, they invited
Yes.
me last week to call in at Talk Heathens,
oh,
but
really?
Johnny Angel was one of the hosts, and I know that he was crazy to have me on one of the shows to expose me publicly as a bigot. So I said
Oh.
to the person that invited me, as long as he doesn't move from the topic which I will propose to come to this topic, I am fine to join. And I mean, I made a mistake 6 months ago. I publicly apologized. You can go.
Was
to
it
the
something
Twitter account and see
transphobic
it.
that you said,
Was
and
it-
then you walked it back?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, I posted a public picture of that person pre-OP at my Facebook account, and that wasn't okay, and
No.
I recognized it and I apologized. So
Well,
that's
hats off
basically
to you,
Good.
man. See,
Good job.
I knew
Good
it. I'm
for
a
you.
good judge of character.
Well, that's what I've been saying, Jim. He's not a bad guy. He's just
Nope.
hard-headed, but so are we. And so I'm okay with him being hard-headed about his beliefs. I'm hard-headed about mine too. We all have a right to believe whatever we want to.
Yeah.
And
Just because I don't agree
to
with him
people
doesn't
like-
mean I think
I
he's a
mean, to
jerk. He's a
people
nice
like
guy.
us, which simply doesn't want to have. I mean, I understand it,
Oh,
but
great
at
question,
the
Linda.
same time, nobody has seen me publicly in a side chat or in a stream exposing bigotry against any trans person. So there is that. And as I said, I recognize that it was an error. I shouldn't have done it. I apologized. And if people cannot digest it even after 6 months, then be it.
I didn't even know that it happened at all. Never mind 6 months ago. So no, that's why I wanted to ask you about it, Angelo, is just clear the air, because I think you're a good guy, and I just wanted to know if you were against me, and if you're not, then we're cool.
No, absolutely
Okay,
not.
you're still
I am
welcome
not-
whenever you want.
I
though,
am not against trans people, and I talk to any trans person. I have no problem with them.
I was gonna say you were
whatsoever.
on my stream talking to like 2 trans people and 2 gay people and a couple straight people. Like
Yeah.
there was
I-
a big mix that night, but there was no
I
issue there.
talked to tons of
Yeah.
gay people, and I have person. I mean, my wife's employee is gay, and that person comes to our feasts and everything, and we treat them absolutely like everyone else. So
Yeah,
there's
good for you, man.
nothing like that. And what I say is the Bible doesn't tell us to be transphobe or to
See,
be
that's exactly what my brother says.
Thank you.
He says
So-
it's not in the Bible to be against people that are gay or trans.
Counterpoint: Oz is still in the live chat, and he says we're getting a snow job right now. That he's snowing us, basically.
Yeah, I
So
want
just
to.
keep that in mind.
You blowing smoke?
I do want to apologize. I think I came down kind of hard on him, and he does seem like a nice guy. And this is a free country. You could be wrong if you want to be. That's fine.
Right.
But I want to apologize if I seem like I came down hard. I have a lot of Christian friends. We don't have to agree. So
To be
And you know-
determined.
And
I-
there's something else. If you guys want to be morally superior,
Oh no,
then
here it
if
comes.
Then if
I already
someone
am.
does, if someone does a mistake and apologizes and recognizes it, hey, it's time to forgive and move on. And that's what I'm not seeing by.
We
certain
didn't ask
people.
for any bloodshed in the process. Just
Nope.
we forgave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I still reach out to you. You can come on the show, bswthepodcast@gmail.com. Message me. I'll talk to you. Let's get
Yeah,
this
Jim
going.
has my. I mean, I can put it here in the private
Yeah.
chat, and we can have a chat, no problem.
At least one. We'll see how it goes.
No, he's not a bad guy to talk to. He really is. He's a good dude. in
I
general.
guarantee you I've talked to worse. I just talked to a guy who said my kids deserve hell. So that went real well.
Wow.
Even that-
Well,
Great.
what my answer to that is we all deserve hell.
And there we go.
see,
There's my
yes.
problem. When you tell me my kids deserve hell, we have an issue right off the bat.
Yeah,
I love
we
this.
do,
It's fun.
but it doesn't mean I can't have a beer with you because I understand that you're being culturally indoctrinated into
It
that
is.
way of thinking. And
Right.
I'm naive. I hold out hope that anyone that says that, maybe I can talk some sense into them later.
And that's what
Yeah,
my show is
same.
all about. We can
Okay,
still
but-
have
but
that
I don't-
conversation.
I don't understand why it would bother you if you don't believe in hell, though. You know, I
To
mean,
think that my kids deserve eternal hellfire, somebody that tells me my kids, I'm going to have an issue with that.
Well, because
100%.
it's not about whether he believes in it. It's the fact that the person saying it believes in it.
That's
and
the
it's
problem.
fucked up to say that about anybody.
Yes.
well, yeah.
Anybody,
I-
never mind
that-
children,
that-
if that's what you truly believe.
That was a difficult conversation. Let me tell you right now. Anybody
I
that tells
bet,
me my
buddy.
kids deserve that's tough. It's real tough. You can tell me I deserve hell, all these different reasons, whatever you want, but when
You
you
don't pick on my loved
involve
ones.
my
Okay,
kids,
I understand.
Right.
I'm more sensitive when it comes to my
protective
kids.
dad comes over and we have an issue. That's all.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. What is
Hey,
it?
Purple, did you get the T-shirt yet?
Yeah, I haven't. I actually haven't tried it on yet.
You need to take a photo of that so I can put it on my little collage of people that have my T-shirt.
Yeah.
Purple won the last Sherlock game and won that shirt
Congrats.
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Well, it came down to a vote of the panel, and the whole panel was my fan club, so that wasn't actually fair. But
see, I could have won that shirt.
No, you got 3 votes and Penny got 2 votes, so she almost won it.
Okay,
Yeah.
but see, in my defense, though, because I was camping.
Here we go.
Ah, there it is.
And I got on the phone. I didn't really know, what was going on. I just seen live. So I don't know, somewhere in the middle of it. And then I was having a hard time typing on the phone. I was typing, wasn't coming out right. I kind of came in the middle of it and had to guess what was going on, but it don't matter. I mean, I'm cool with Purple winning the shirt, congratulations.
I guess your eternal consciousness didn't want you to have it.
Could be.
Let's go in reverse order. Final thoughts and final plugs. Purple.
like I said, I just do casual chats Wednesdays at noon and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Central Time on my channel. And usually I'm with the shills Saturdays at 6.
You know what? Right after the show, tell me your schedule again, and I'm going to actually permanently put it in my calendar. So I need at least, me, I need like 48 hours notice if I'm going to be on a show. People say, "Come on," Beck does it to me all the time too. I was like,
Dude, I'm going on in 2 hours. He's like, dude, tell me yesterday.
Yes, tell me yesterday.
No, I've got the same thing. If people don't
All
tell
right.
me a day ahead of time, then I'm not even sure if I'm going to be around or awake at the time.
I'd rather 48 hours than 2 hours before. Yeah. Okay. And Beck.
So Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, I do Oxic Transculinity, and basically we talk about trans stuff. Starts out as me and my 2 trans guy buddies, and we talk about trans guy stuff, and then we bring people like Purple and Amy Newman and whoever else, Phoebe and all those people. And we have chats, and sometimes we do an open mic at the end of it, so people can come in and ask questions, and it's all about people asking questions. So come by and ask. Wednesday nights, 9 p.m., I have an open mic. My hump day hangout is what I call it. And everybody's welcome there. Everybody's always welcome everywhere unless you're a total dick, and then I'll block you. And then on Friday nights, I'm with Student Dr. Ben on his Twitch at 9 p.m. Eastern. See, we make it easy for you guys. 9 p.m. Eastern, right? 9 p.m. Eastern on his Twitch for Student Dr. Ben's Twitch for Trivia Night. And then Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, you'll find me at Neil's. And Sunday, it's just random. You'll find me somewhere.
Dude, your voice, are you still on HRT? Because your voice is even lower than last time I talked to you.
I know, bro. Isn't it great?
It's
I
getting
can-
Barry
I can
White level. You need to maybe
way
back off that HRT. It's lower than mine.
Well,
It's
you know,
awesome.
funny thing is, Jim, is when I was in high school and everybody went through puberty and they like took all the boys and moved them over to the left in choir and moved all the girls to the right. They stuck me in the middle because they were like, I don't know what to do with you.
Oh,
Because my
jeez.
voice was too deep for the girls, but too high for the guys. So I always was
Yep.
stuck right in the middle. So I took a
Another
little bit
idea-
of tea, man, and it just dropped, and it's great. I fucking love it.
And another idea for your toxic transculinity, if
Yeah.
you don't have Arden's contact number, I do. If you haven't had her on the show,
Actually,
Okay.
I do have Arden's. Arden's actually come into our open mics and stuff with me and Ben.
Okay,
and has
great,
talked a
great,
few
great.
times. Yeah, we're buddies. I already got her on Twitter and everything. She's just too fucking busy. She's too busy.
and someone in the live chat wants to know your channel. It's Uncle Beck now, right?
It's Uncle
So
Beck.
easy to find.
Just
Yeah.
like my name on here. You can find me on Twitter and TikTok and Jesus, where am I? Twitter, TikTok, here, Twitch, all under Uncle Beck. Either
Rumble,
Uncle Beck or Uncle Beck
Truth
70.
Social. No,
Who?
Rumble, Truth Social.
I don't even know what those are, man.
Good. I know you don't.
I mean, are they for hookups? Because I want to be part
No,
of that.
they're right wing.
Oh.
They're right.
Oh
wing.
no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I mean, I have no problem fucking some Christian chick. I'm used to women calling me God. It's fine.
Otangelo, are you still producing? Are you still making
I'm such a
content?
dick.
Well, I slowed down. I have a YouTube channel, The God Talk, but I am more visiting other channels and participating in lives like here tonight. But you can go there. It's The God Talk and look it up. If you want to put a link here, I put in the private chat.
Oh,
Can
you
you
put
put
it
it
in
in
the
the
main.
site?
Put it in the main chat so everyone.
Yeah,
can
I
get
don't
that.
have a range, but I mean, if you just look up The God Talk, you
Oh,
will
I got
find
the
my
God
channel.
talk. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and Michael, the Bible says what?
The Bible Says What? Yeah, you can find me at thebiblesayswhat.com, BSW the podcast at gmail.com. Also on YouTube under The Bible Says What. I don't have an OnlyFans. I don't know if that's for Antangelo.
I think it was for Beck. It was a little bit delayed.
No, I don't have an OnlyFans, you guys. I mean, if you
Damn
want me to start one, I will. I'm not afraid to do it.
So as soon as he starts that, you can check that out there. TheBibleSaysWhat.com. Where else? YouTube, Facebook, anywhere else you see this logo, that's me. The guy with the beard. The guy without the beard is not me. There is another Bible Says What. There's also another one with a couple of pastors. They refuse to come on my show, but there are imposters out there. So make sure you find the guy with the beard. The red, yellow, and black lettering is me. Again, if you want to be on the show, bswthepodcast at gmail.com or Tangelo, that is for you.
What's funny, until yesterday I thought OnlyFans. It is kind of, yeah. It's pay though. There's a paywall. It's for people making money off of it. But yeah.
Yeah, although to be fair, it is not specifically for sex. There are
No.
actually people on there who are like giving classes.
What?
Oh yeah. You know what?
Really?
yeah.
That must be
Sexy.
porn if you're going looking for porn and you find that.
Well, no, if it's sexy
I'm just
and
gonna talk to you.
educational, I
Yeah,
can see
no,
it. You know.
With my
There's
clothes
people
on.
on there doing woodworking and all
hey,
sorts of
what?
crafts.
Like she
Yeah, that's
That's
knitting.
amazing.
There's people on there who will teach you all sorts of crafts.
All right. OnlyFans, Bible Says What? We're going to read the book. That's what we're going to do, my OnlyFans.
You go into OnlyFans, you type in beaver, and it shows you real beavers, and you're like, what the fuck? That's not why I came here.
That's not what I signed up for.
What the fuck? I paid for this?
Penny.
Yes.
And Penny.
Yeah. From Holistic Liberty. my channel is called Holistic Liberty. And my website is called Holistic Liberty. Holisticliberty.net. And I need to remember to go back in that and fix a few things. But anyways, I'm really kind of new at this. So I don't have all the stuff that y'all have. And basically, I'm okay with any belief system. I just basically, with my life, I've learned a few techniques in my life that helped me kind of get away from all the BS that's been ingrained in us in all these years, well, most of it. And I want to teach others how to get in contact with who they are And so they can learn to listen to themselves instead of being controlled by everybody else's beliefs or told what to think or whatever. As you can tell, my thinking process maybe not be like everybody else, but I'm safe. Crazy, but safe. Don't shave your beard. We'll get totally confused.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'd call it scruff, not really a beard yet.
It's just a giant.
But and don't forget to mention, you know, Oz and Godless Granny, since they're not on here. You might want to plug them for them.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and like I said with you guys, Jim has
Oz
my
is-
information if you want to get a hold of me. I'm more than willing to go on your shows. I'll take on any challenge. That I'm just a daring kind of person.
So, Jim, I'll give you a special cookie here right now, because some people, they are curious about the episode still, about things which I've not said publicly, what happened.
Yes.
So I'll say it now. What happened is this, that I knew that Matt was dating that person, and in private on Discord, I was commenting that with a very famous pre-op apologist, and he gave me that picture of the pre-op, and I put it at my Facebook.
Well, all I need to know is, do you regret it? Are you remorseful for it? And do you consider that it was a dick move?
Yeah, I know it was wrong. I am
Then you
aware
know
of
what?
that.
Everyone is capable of redemption in my mind, and you know what? Then I
Agreed.
don't have a problem with you know. If we don't have
Yeah,
if we don't
and-
have the capability to be redeemed, there's sometimes no point in going on.
And the best
Everyone
part
should
about
have
being
that opportunity.
forgiving,
And
best
Jim,
part about-
something which I clarified previously, and people don't buy it, but that's okay. That's up to them. Is I really didn't think too much about it. It was a stupid move, and I mean, I regret
Well,
it.
Well, you know what? And I've done some horrible things that, you know, at the time I think, this'll, if you need to stoop that low, it takes away your credibility for the things that you might be right on. So let's say I think the problem of suffering is the best argument for the non-existence of God. But then if I dock someone that I'm in a debate with, knowingly and maliciously, I just discredited my argument. It lowers your own credibility when you do that. So it's a lose-lose for everybody.
Absolutely, I agree with you. That's why I
Easy
say
beard for you. You like that beard?
Oh shit!
That's my brother, man. It goes all the way down to almost his
No
navel
shit.
now.
looks
Yeah.
just like me.
Oh,
Okay, you like my beard?
Oh, yours is nice. It's thicker than mine, Penny. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, Otangelo, the best part about being an atheist is we don't need bloodshed for forgiveness.
Yeah.
Your God, on the other hand, he does require it. He requires the bloodshed of innocence in order to forgive people. I don't.
I don't get that punishment
weird.
thing.
Well, I
Hebrews
actually
9:22.
disagree with what you just said, because Christ, he gave his life freely.
Right, Hebrews 9:22. Without the shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness. Your God required that bloodshed. He needed it in order to forgive people. I can forgive people without bloodshed.
You know,
Yeah.
coincidentally, I did just a study in regards of precisely that verse,
Mhm.
because I was in a chat with a Muslim, and actually, if you go and look it up, then I mean, the Muslim's objection was that in the Old Testament, when someone didn't have the money to buy an animal to give it as a sacrifice,
Still bloodshed.
then no.
Yeah.
You could give something from the field, a crop or something.
Where does it say that?
An offer. It
Where
is
in the Bible does it say that?
Well, I would have to go and look it up right now. But
I would love that.
yeah.
Well, okay, let's talk about that when you come on my show. We'll talk about bloodshed for forgiveness specifically and what God thinks about it and where in the Bible it says, yes, you can give a plant. Yeah, I love that. Let's do that.
Yeah, but, you know, I don't get it anyways, because I learned a long time ago that there's punishment and there's discipline, and punishment is revenge. Discipline is to teach.
Nice job. And God loves his revenge.
Yeah, and a vengeful God is not a loving God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will.
Preach it. Preach it,
I
Penny.
will say that.
To answer to that, I don't think it is about revenge. It is about justice.
Oh, we can go to the Bible.
Vengeance
Come
is
on my
mine,
show.
saith the Lord. It actually
Yes.
said.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, Jim.
Aunt Angela is correct on that. That there are a couple of passages in the Bible that talk about a grain offering if you can't afford the animal.
Okay, true.
Yeah, that worked out for Abel real well, didn't it? Or Cain,
Yeah,
I mean.
exactly. We go back to the Cain and Abel story where the grain offering, the vegetable offering was not sufficient.
But that may be true, but there are still animal sacrifices. And how does that, you're talking about how is that just to the animal?
Christianity is based on an animal sacrifice.
Right.
A blood
How
sacrifice
is that
in a
just?
human being.
Yeah. How is that
Yep.
just?
No, actually,
This is a whole
what-
different
what
topic,
I
and we are.
It's a whole different thing. Yeah.
This is a whole separate topic. We are exactly at 2 hours. I like to keep it nice and tight, tight 2 hours. I want to thank you all. If there's any other plugs, right after the show, message them to me privately, and I'll put them into the description section. Oz, if you're still listening, or there's someone else in here. There's a bunch of Tang guys. That upcoming event, the Better Conference in Indiana in June. If you give me a link to that, I'll put it in the description. I'll pin it to the top of the comments even. But thank you so much, especially Michael. The Bible says what? First time on the show. We're definitely got to have you back, man.
Absolutely.
Maybe a one-on-one,
Glad to
and
be
we get inside your head a little bit.
here. That's a scary place, man.
All right, guys, take care,
That's
and we will see you. We will catch you all next time. All right.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.